Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Joey Moments. This is the podcast where we shoot the shit and we drink a little bit of beer because we have nothing better to do on a Monday night.
Oh, there you go.
It's pre-recorded on June the 3rd for release on June the 10th. My name is Joey. I have Joey Moments. This is my friend Tarek, who works in video production and is one of my lifelong friends.
Hi, everyone.
Obviously, you're talking to about 12 people because
Oh,
we know who's
yeah.
going to be watching this.
Hey, listen. If anybody has the gall to sit through it, kudos to them. All right?
Honestly, yeah. There was a statistic I saw about podcasts that was a download statistic that to get into the top, I want to say it was the 15th percentile of all podcasts. You only need 30 downloads. That's
Really?
it. That's it, because people don't download podcasts anymore. Think about how many podcasts. Also, think about how many podcasts there are that get 0 downloads.
No, I mean, I believe that. I mean, you have to think that, like, back when we were younger, I mean, like, iTunes had, like, a whole podcast,
I think it's
like,
a per
app.
week. I think it's a per week statistic.
Yeah. I'm saying, though, like,
Yeah.
it was like iTunes had, like, a whole podcast app. And I
Yep.
remember when I was younger, I'm like, what the fuck is a podcast? I don't know what the hell this is. And I never downloaded anything on it because I just didn't care for it and stuff like that. And then I would say probably a few years ago, I mean, like 5-6 years ago is when podcasts really blew up. I feel like it was like everybody had a podcast.
Yeah. Around like 2018.
You know, now that I'm saying 5-6 years ago, I'm realizing that's 2018. I was thinking more 2016, and I'm realizing how fast time is going.
Yeah. I listened to my first podcast about 2011.
Oh, there you go.
And that was the Drunk Tank podcast. That was right before
Yeah.
it became the Rooster Teeth podcast.
Yeah, I was just saying though, like, I feel like it used to be like one of those things where it was like a one-off thing, like where, like, not a one-off, but like people would. It wasn't like, you know, like this, where you got a couple mics and people just started talking, like a bunch of dudes like, oh, we're funny enough, we'll start talking, you know, we'll be entertaining. But back then it was like, if you had a podcast, it's because you knew the production.
Yep.
You know
Yeah.
what
You
I
had
mean?
an audience, and the podcast was just
Yeah.
an additional production. I think that's the difference now is podcasts have become the equivalent to the radio talk show.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of has one. There's one for just about every topic. There's a sports one. There's a comedy one.
Yeah.
10 years ago, that wasn't the case. 10 years ago, it was like, oh, Rooster Teeth has a podcast. FaZe has a podcast. You
Yeah.
know, a
I
couple
really-
of the bigger content creators had a podcast.
Yeah, I really got into podcasts when I was like watching The Misfits.
Okay.
I like when they were really popular because I thought their podcast was really funny. And then I only listened to a couple. You ever watch Mr. Sunday movies?
Yes.
I love Mr. Sunday movies because obviously nerd shit with movies. But like, I mean, I like how their like videos aren't presented like it's a podcast, but it is ultimately like they're like 40-minute long things where they talk about a certain like movie or topic that came out or something like that. But like you click the video thinking it's just like a regular into podcast, and I kind of, in a weird way, I kind of like it because I'm like, oh, okay, this is a lot longer than I thought it was, but then I actually get interested in it.
Sure. I think that was what drew me to podcasts. So again, the first one I watched was Drunk Tank, which turned into Rooster Teeth podcast. And it was funny, but also I was at the age where it had enough adult humor that it wasn't so inappropriate that if I listened to it with my parents would be mad about it. But there was enough adult humor that I would be like, oh, they said a naughty word. Haha. They said fuck. And
I never say that.
and it was enough. That one was mostly, I guess, recent events. Like
Yeah.
they would talk about, and it was pop culture. So that was all stuff I was already interested in, about video games and stuff. I remember listening to that one when I put Christmas lights up after I moved here. Because you remember, I don't know if you remember my grandparents' house.
Oh, yeah.
The big lights that they would do. That was like a week's worth of work for us.
I don't think I ever really saw the big lights.
They did. They went
I didn't.
out.
I didn't go over to your house all that often. I just remembered your dog latching onto my calf.
That dog's still alive. He's 12 in July.
Wait, seriously?
He's 12 in July, yeah.
I thought that was one of the dogs that died.
No, that was a little bit. That's the black and white one. He turns 12 no, he turned, 12 in,
Holy
No,
shit.
no, he turned 12 in February. He's already 12. Dallas, the brown one, turns 12 in July.
Dallas was the one that bit my leg?
No, a little bit did.
Little bit did.
Yeah, the black and white one. He was a puppy at the time. He was like 1.
Jeez.
It
Yeah,
might.
I flung that
It
fucker
might have been
across the room.
Ernie. No,
I
because
don't know.
Ernie was dead by the time we started hanging out. R.I.P. that dog. That dog was. He was a great dog, but man, he was so afraid of the vet, and that's what got him. That is what got him. My aunt took him to the vet in the morning, and I was at school because we sat in the bleachers
Yeah.
before school, and I get a text from my mom saying, "You need to go to the office. I'm picking you up." It's not even 8:00 in the morning yet, and I'm like, What's going on?" And I get dragged into the office, and my mom comes and picks me up, and she's like in tears, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? She's like, "We're going to the vet. Ernie died." And Ernie's my childhood dog. Like I got him when I was like 4.
Yeah.
That was I had surgery on my eye as a kid.
Yeah.
And that was the reward. Like you get surgery on your eye, we'll go and we'll get you a dog. This dog hated me. Dog did not like me. Loved my aunt to death. I would try and play with him and he would just growl at me.
Yeah.
Did not like me at all.
Yeah,
Exact opposite of Kimba.
That's fair.
And so and God, I remember being so sad. I remember I had a Minecraft world at the time that I just put Rip Ernie.
Wait. So the dog died because he got scared of the vet?
Yeah. The vet. He was so afraid of the vet. Like he would get such bad anxiety going to the vet because he was kind of sick towards the end.
Yeah.
Okay. That it gave him a heart attack, and so he had a heart attack in my aunt's arms and shit all over her and died.
Okay, I don't want to laugh at that, but that's actually pretty fucking funny. Like,
Yep.
I mean, wait, you're telling me, like, okay, you said the dog was sick?
He was not the healthiest dog. I mean, I'm sure you can remember how Avatar was getting towards the end.
Yeah.
Like the constant like little health issues that required like little vet visits.
Yeah.
That's how he was. He was getting up there. He was not the healthiest dog.
Okay.
And so he would go about once a month to the vet.
Okay.
So
Yeah, no, that it's just the way you explain that. He died because he was scared of the vet. That is, it's not funny.
yeah, I got there.
It's not funny.
I got there. And my aunt is like traumatized holding her baby, and she's just covered in shit. I mean, just fucking plastered.
That's how we chose like my dog. Avatar was my dog, my childhood dog, but like we went to go pick out, and my mom's like, "We're not getting a dog. We're just going to go look." But you never go look. You always come home with a dog.
Yep.
And she was like going through the entire litter of like puggles and stuff like that, and picked one up, and he shit all over her, and she was like, "Yep, this is the one."
Yeah, that's how it goes. And then you have my case scenario where the dog came to my house.
Yeah, they basically just dropped off Kimba.
Yes. So my perception was that we were going to meet the dog.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to meet the dog. I had been told the price. Like they were like, if you want the dog, it's this much money, and I'll give you the food, the bowls, his toys, and his kennel. I was like, okay, I want to meet the dog first before I make a decision. She brought the dog over. I liked the dog. I did not know at the time that I was going to keep the dog. I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I love Kimba to death. He is my world.
Yeah.
The day I met him, I was really not feeling him. I was really like, this dog is a lot of energy. I don't really know that that's going to work out just because of the lifestyle that we have at the house. Mm-hmm. And it's a little bit different now with JC, John, and Z.
Yeah.
But I knew that those people were moving in. I was like, I don't really know that a dog is going to work out. And then she was just like, so do you like him? And I was like, yeah, he's nice. He's playful. And she's like, okay. And she left. And then I had a dog. And that's the story of how I got Kimba.
I know. I love how, I will never forget you telling me, I'm like, oh, he looks like he's going to be a yappy dog. And you're like, no, he doesn't bark that much. He's pretty chill, Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, like he's got high energy, but I never heard him bark actually.
Yeah.
Do you bite your tongue now?
Oh, so yeah, the barking's, with the anxiety medication now, with him being on a daily anxiety pill, the barking's been less frequent.
Yeah.
And it's now a lot more times it's just a tell. So like when he needs to go to the bathroom, he'll come up. If I'm sitting at my desk, he will he will come and he'll nibble at my hand, and if that doesn't get him, like if that doesn't get him the attention he needs to go outside, he'll bark at me, and I'm like, oh, okay, do you need to go outside? And then he'll spin around and run upstairs. If he's upstairs, he'll do the same thing, except he'll go to the door after he bites and barks at me. The thing that I think JC is having the biggest problem with, and I am too, is that if me and Kimber are down here and there's noise upstairs, like the door, or JC moves around too much, Kimber freaks out. He barks. And it's a dog thing to just kind of bark at noise, but also at the same time, like we've really been trying to nip that in the butt, or like just get rid of that. But it's been such a hard thing to stop.
No, yeah,
I've tried Nathan's method of the coin in the can. Kimba just laughs at me. Like if that dog could talk, he would just taunt me.
There's not a thought behind those eyes.
No, except for today. Today he was really proud of himself. I cannot believe he finally killed a rabbit. That has been like a year in the making.
He's been chasing him.
He's gotten really close a couple times, and the thing he didn't learn for the longest time is he can't go full speed. He just goes over him. He's faster than the rabbits.
Yeah.
And he flies over them, and the rabbit flips a bitch. And Kimba doesn't get him. And I guess Kimba today finally figured out that trick, and he caught it. And from the looks of it, from the video JC sent me, it looks like Kimba caught it as he was trying to go under the shed. Because there used to be a burrow under the shed.
Avatar found a fucking burrow under our trampoline one time. And I saw him like dead sprint under the trampoline. I'm like, I hear like squeaky toys. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know he must have keep his squeaky toys under the fucking trampoline. I walk over there and there's just like fucking 3 bunnies hanging from his teeth. He found an entire like burrow of like 12 of them. Oh. And he was just like, and dude was going to town, like ripping them up. And they literally sounded like fucking squeaky toys. Oh, no. It was insane. And so we got we bagged up the dead ones. And then luckily he did not mass murder all of them. He only got 4 of them. But there were like 12 left or whatever. And we gave them to the Humane Society.
Gotcha.
They came by and picked them up in a box.
Oh, my grandfather had a dog, and my aunt brought over my Aunt Stephanie. I don't know if you ever met her. She brought over her big dog. They had a really big hunting dog that it had been rehomed to them. Yeah. And he was dog sitting. My grandfather hears a noise, and he had a doggy door, and he hears a noise in the basement. He's like, what the fuck is going on? He comes down there, and the 2 dogs both have rabbits that are just torn to fucking shreds in the bathroom. Like he said, it looked like someone had been murdered in his bathroom.
I believe it.
And the rabbits were basically gone. They ate lunch. they had lunch. They had a buffet.
Yeah, dude.
And my grandfather was like, "What the fuck?"
They don't give a shit, dude. They'll fuck up.
Well, and Cortana, when she got out, JC's cat. For those listening, we have a little tiny cat. Tiny. I mean, she's maybe what 4.5, 5 pounds.
Very small cat.
Got outside. Was gone for 2 days. We find her, and she just has feathers from her mouth. Oh, there's just a trail of feathers leading under the shed.
You think she found a bird?
Oh, she killed a bird. Absolutely.
Did you guys find the bird?
Nope.
Did you guys take her to the vet afterwards?
No, JC just watched her. And then what happened was...
I think JC said he saw her shit it out or something like that.
Yeah, so that story is really funny. He came home about 2 days later, and I get a text, and he's like, yeah, Cortana shit out the bird. And I was like, oh, how can you tell? Did you see it? And he goes... No, I got home from work and the entire house smelled like fucking death. Like you could smell it from the front door. He had to go and instantly change the kitty litter because of just how bad the house stunk. And he was like, "Yeah, she shit that out. That was not kibble. That was absolutely bird shit."
That's rough.
So, but yeah, I love pets, but they're a lot of work. And sometimes I just come home and I'm like, "God damn it, Kimba, you are going to be the death of me."
Well, I mean. Getting Kimba was definitely a Joey moment. The way that it happened to you was a Joey moment. But I guess for your viewers, do you want to explain what a Joey moment is? What the inspiration for the title of your podcast is? Joey
moments are a really funny phenomenon that happen a little too often for my liking. They used to happen a lot more frequently. They've definitely slowed down the past year. But it's when something really stupid happens, either to me or because of me, and there's never any like permanent damage. No one gets hurt. No one's really. Well, I mean, I guess I got.
Joey I got hurt every now and then.
Occasionally. there's
Anyone
never
outside of Joey getting hurt, that doesn't happen.
Nope.
But if Joey gets hurt, it can still be classified as a Joey moment.
there's never really any permanent damage. No, there's never any like long-lasting effects. Kimba's really been the long-lasting one. Of course, we have the original Joey moment, which was almost a really long-lasting one. Thank God for that. I guess the car accidents; those were
My
Those were
favorite,
kind of-
my favorite Joey moment is when we were helping Chris and Mac move.
oh my God, the one where my shoes just fucking flew off. I wish we had that on video.
Dude, like yeah. I mean, we were helping Chris and Mac move, and it was what, middle of winter.
It was
Like December?
like I want to say the second week of January. Are
was
these
it-
twist offs? Oh, they are.
Oh, nice.
Oh, perfect.
And
Little heart. I didn't know that about PVR bottles. That's
I did not
interesting.
either. And well, it was very icy out, and Joey, being Joey, a good gentleman, decided, you know what, I'm gonna carry the TV. That was a mistake. Joey proceeded to eat shit in the funniest way imaginable by slipping on the ice and not bracing his fall with anything else. He braced his fall with the TV.
Okay,
And that TV was fucking shattered.
in my defense,
And your shoes came off at the same time, didn't they?
one of them. So,
Dude.
so the way it happened was I slipped forward. So my legs went back and I went forward. And when I did that, one of my shoes, because I was wearing Vans, so they weren't very tight on my feet, they were slip-ons, and they just went flying backwards. I think Eric had to go get it out of a bush.
That was so funny.
But I was holding the TV by the stand, so I had it like Captain America's shield.
Yeah.
And so when I started falling, I know not to put my arms out. That's been ingrained in me since like elementary school gym that if you do that, that's how you break your arm.
Yeah.
So you always want to fall with your arms in your chest.
Yep.
And so I did that, except I have the TV as a shield, and I just all 240 pounds of me just slam into the concrete, and the TV took the brunt of it. My legs were really scratched up.
Yeah, we turned on that TV. That thing was not
It
recovering.
It worked. The video worked. It just came
It
in
was
and out.
blue,
It just came in
and
and
there
out.
was a shattered part on it.
No, it was scratched. It wasn't shattered because it's still in Chris's garage. Because that's the one we play Smash on now. If you go to his garage, that's the one we play Smash on.
No, it is not.
Yeah, it is. Because it was originally the one
I
that was
remember
going to be
when
in
we turned it
Juliet's
on. There was a
room.
big fucking line across it.
One blue line. Other than that, it works.
Oh my god.
And I didn't even have to replace the TV. I bought them their mount for the TV in the room.
Yeah, I remember
Which was
that.
an equal value because they said the TV was probably about $70.
I mean, it wasn't a crazy.
No, it's just
expensive
one that you put in a
TV.
kid's room.
Yeah.
It's just something for video. I mean, the one I had when I was a kid was like a big fat one, like a CRT with a DVD player in it.
I mean, that's what I. Yeah, oh yeah. For me, like
Until I broke
had-
it with coins.
we had CRTs with coins.
Yeah, I'd use it
You
as a
fucking
piggy
put
bank.
coins in it,
Use it as a fucking piggy bank.
Joey.
I was like 3.
Okay.
What do you expect a 3-year-old to do?
I don't know.
Except
maybe
break something.
not put coins.
Have
in a
you met me?
fucking VCR. Yes, I've met you.
No, not a VCR. It was a DVD player.
Oh, that's even worse. I feel like at least with a VCR, like you could fucking store them and shit like that.
I don't know. I don't know what I was
Logan
thinking.
put a cookie in our Xbox.
I've heard that,
That
story.
one. That
That's
one
a good
was. That was good. Yeah, that caused a lot of emotional pain for me at the time.
Didn't your guys' Halo 3 Xbox only like relatively recently die?
It still works.
Does it still work?
It still works for a long time. So we had we got like the original like Halo 3 like special edition Xbox 360, and it worked for a while, and then it got the red ring of death,
Gotcha.
and we were like, okay, sent it back, and they like fixed it,
Yep.
came back.
Yeah. Cost Microsoft $1 billion to do that, by the way.
Yeah, well, they didn't fix it. It still was red ring of death. And then we got it back, and then we sent it back one more time, and then they finally fixed it, and that thing's been running ever since. It still works fine. It's just we have no fucking discs anymore to play the games in it.
There's no point. I mean, we have ours here at the house, but that's because we have the retro game corner.
Oh yeah.
And mine still works. Mine's a Halo 3 one, which is not my original Xbox 360.
Yeah.
That is, I bought that secondhand when I got my first job.
Yeah.
My original Xbox 360 is long gone.
Yeah, that was our original Xbox 360. Like my parents would, because since I have so many siblings, it would just like you buy one console, everybody shares it, you know. And so, like we had like one of every console for a long time. But the thing is we were never allowed to play online because my parents didn't want to pay. We never had Xbox Live because my parents didn't want to pay for the subscription.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I gravitated more towards like
PlayStation
because it was free. But the thing is though, like I would play Call of Duty, but I wasn't good enough to play against real players, so I would just play against bots.
Oh, okay. That's how my aunt was.
Even though I had online that I could play, and I would just play against bots. Like I would even invite my friends, and we would play against bots and bot lobbies.
Yeah, because Black Ops 1 had that feature where you could play multiplayer but with bots only.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I remember that was like we did that up until like PlayStation got hacked. And there was like they were down for like it felt like a year.
29 days, I think.
29 days. It felt like a fucking year to me, but
Yeah.
they were down forever, dude. And I remember like the whole neighborhood was just like, what the hell? Because we were all PlayStation players at the time because it was free. Like I had an Xbox 360, and really like I played Halo 3. Like I played like all the Halos. I played like the campaigns, and stuff like that. And I love the campaigns, but I was never really into the online until I got Reach. And once I got Reach, then I started playing online more.
Yeah, Reach was a cultural experience because that was around the time I moved here.
Yeah.
And everyone I knew was playing Halo Reach at the time.
Dude, Halo Reach was huge, dude. Like for me, like that is by far my favorite Halo game. But like, I told myself I wasn't going to talk about Halo. But here we are.
It kind of happened. I mean, look. Yeah. I mean, there's at least 4 Halo things around here.
No, I know. You just kind of bring it out of me. It's because I mentioned Xbox.
Yeah.
But no, like I remember I used to go over to my buddy's house, and he had like the pre-ordered special edition one, where he had like the book, like the Cat's book or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember I wanted that book so fucking bad.
I have 2 of them.
Oh, that's great. I never got to fucking read it because
if you want one, I can lend you it.
Yeah,
it's
a little late now.
They did a really good job of doing that. Like I don't think about that very often, but sometimes it'll come across my mind that we don't get special editions like that anymore.
No, you
as
get
the
like
era of physical media has kind of decreased.
You get special editions, but really all it is just a statue.
Yeah, you don't get like in-universe stuff. Like I remember MW3, you got Soap's notebook.
Yeah.
Which was really cool because that had like pictures from the game. It had like little like excerpts, and it looked like it was like bloodstained because that's what he had shot. And it's there in his pocket. And then the Reach one, I don't want to know whose job that was to sit there and painstakingly reference lore to make what is essentially a journal from the perspective of a character in the game.
Yeah.
That sounds miserable.
No, I agree.
Like if that was my job, I'd be like, you are going to pay me a lot of money because I'm about to be clinically depressed for like a month.
It was really cool though. Like, I mean, like
it had the map. It had like Halsey's key card.
Yeah. I can't tell you like the last time that I remember ever caring about some sort of like special edition type thing. Like, I mean, Assassin's Creed, but like their stuff was never really...
I think the last one I was really excited about, I didn't end up getting it, and I have buyer's remorse about not getting it, was the Black Ops 3 one, the Juggernog mini fridge.
Oh, yeah.
I have a lot of buyer's remorse for not getting that one, because now, out of box, it goes for like $500.
Well, the issue is, though, like nowadays, like, you can't pre-order games anymore. Like,
no.
I mean, as much as, like, people, like, you want to, like, they don't turn, they're never really... good, or it's like you can't take that risk. Like the last time I pre-ordered a game was I think Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because I like Assassin's Creed and I like Viking shit.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool. I have to buy this game. This is made for me, you know. And I bought it. And I'm just like, I'm gonna sound like a fucking boomer, but like it doesn't feel like the old games, you know. Like,
no, it's not a power trip anymore.
It's not a power trip. It's much more like RPG, and there is an audience for that. And I completely understand that there is an audience for like the more like Skyrim-esque like combat and stuff like that, where it's more skill based. But like that was never the reason I liked Assassin's Creed. Yeah. I liked Assassin's Creed because of the parkour and just feeling like a fucking badass. Like Assassin's Creed 3, dude. I don't know, you could take on fucking 15 enemies all at the same time and just like feel like a badass. But then like, you know, I get nicked in the fucking knee in Valhalla and I'm encumbered, I'm slow and shit like that. I'm just like, okay. But like there's a place for that though. Like for me, like I love like the Souls games.
Sure.
You know, the Souls games are really hard, but like the difference is when I go into a Souls game, I go into it with like the knowledge that like this is going to be a hard game that I'm going to have a lot of fun beating, but I'm going to be like, my mind is going to fucking hate this shit.
Yeah, it's
in
like
the moment.
playing Doom at the hardest difficulty.
Exactly.
Like that was a very fun thing to do.
Oh,
like I
yeah.
played both of the new ones
Yeah.
at the hardest difficulty. I did not beat them,
Dude.
but I played them and they were fun for the parts that I played. Did you, were you the one that beat it on the hardest difficulty?
Yeah. Doom
That
Eternal
looked
is
miserable.
Yeah, it was. Doom Eternal is about 30 hours of just pure adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, I want to do it again. I want to get the DLC. I never did that, but no, that was just fucking phenomenal. I loved that shit, dude. Like, but yeah, like, but back to like Assassin's Creed, like I don't go into Assassin's Creed thinking like, oh, how am I gonna stat my character? How am I gonna, what items are I gonna build? I'm like, no, I just want the fucking hen blade, a sword, and a tomahawk.
That is how I kind of felt about Halo Infinite.
You made sure this was recording, right?
Yes.
I'm all
Is
paranoid.
the little red light on
Yes,
above
it
the
is.
record button? It is recording. It should have a time. What are we at right now anyway?
Let's find
I
out.
didn't even think to check that.
27 minutes.
We're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like 40. I was like, are we like hitting like
Yeah.
almost an hour mark? Halo Infinite had some RPG-esque elements, and it was very weird. Like
I never played it.
So
I played the campaign, like not the campaign, the multiplayer.
Yeah.
And the multiplayer was so much fun.
Well, and the thing that sucked was that the multiplayer was free, but the campaign you had to purchase or have Game Pass. I had Game Pass because I'm a huge advocate for Game Pass. I like it, especially now that I get Call of Duty with it. I never have to purchase COD again, thank God.
Yeah.
But the thing with Halo Infinite was the campaign was not worth the $60 they were asking.
Yeah.
It was really short. I almost 100%ed it. I have the last like quarter of a mission, one skull and like 12 collectibles to get, and that was only 24 hours of playthrough.
Halo Infinite is just sad.
It's such a missed opportunity.
Yeah, because like it was a good game that was fun. They just didn't
nothing.
do anything with it.
Yep,
Like, what
they
was the
released a
point?
live service game with no post-launch content in the pipeline.
It was like half the content that they were planning. Like it's like I heard it's decent now, but
If
it's
Halo
not.
Infinite launched in the state that it's in now, especially after tomorrow as the match composer comes out, so you can really pick what game modes you want to play specifically. If the game had launched like it is now, I think Halo Infinite would be like, we'd be talking very differently about it. We'd be talking about like
it
a
should
top,
have launched with Forge.
top. Well, yeah, I agree.
If
But-
like, I mean, you have to think like they advertise it like it was like the most intricate fucking thing,
and it
you know,
is.
and
Halo
it is.
Infinite's Forge is fucking
I know.
crazy. The stuff people have made.
But could you imagine if they like released it on launch and the stuff people would have made then?
Oh, dude, it would have been crazy.
Like,
Infection should have been
when
at launch.
people were actually in,
Yep.
like into the game. Now the game's dead now.
Oh yeah, I mean, it does okay on Xbox, but the Steam player base is dead. It's gone. I think Steam peaks at about, like every week it peaks at about 6,000 players on Steam,
Yeah.
which is terrible for a game that has an all-time high on Steam of 250,000 players.
Yeah.
And on Xbox the numbers were reportedly higher. So like around launch time there was probably almost 1 million people playing the game. And
really
within a
fun
month
game.
it was dead.
Well, yeah, because they had 3 fucking maps.
They had less content than the original game.
They had like 3 maps and like one game mode.
Yeah,
Like,
can you think about that? Think about a game that released in 2001
Yeah.
had more content, more game modes, and more maps than Halo Infinite did much.
That's crazy to think about. And it's crazy because it's like it was a fun game. Like it was a polished game.
The gameplay was solid.
Yeah, it was solid. It was so much fun. But they just didn't have enough to keep anybody.
Because we
Like, it's
grinded
like
it for what, like a month and a half?
It was like a month and a half. Played ranked for a little bit and then
You outranked Henry.
Yeah, well, I got shafted, dude.
I know you did. I remember I had the notebook with the the CSR, and I would do the math for everyone to
Yeah.
tell them how much they needed every game.
Yeah.
And I could never understand why yours was so low.
Bro,
Because we
I
were in
won-
diamond and you were in gold.
Yeah, you guys were in diamond, and I literally played at the same level as you guys.
Yep, because you would play
And
with
I
us,
won
and we'd
10 games in a row, like all
Yep.
10 games in a row. Played every game, and it wasn't like I was like fucking bottom of the leaderboard half the time. It was like
Yeah.
I was with them, like I was either like mid to high most of the time, and it put me in fucking gold. Are you fucking kidding me? Of course, this game flopped. Fuck
and they
them.
overhauled the ranking system because you weren't the only person that had a problem like that. That was a pretty common issue. Was the game prioritized weird things to get your rank?
Yeah, I don't know.
Which just goes to show, that company is the most incompetent game developer for how big that franchise is. I don't want to get into that. I could have a whole episode of a podcast just talking about that shit.
Well, why don't you save that till next episode?
I think I will. I think I know who I'll have on to talk about that. So, but yeah, this was an exciting little podcast. It's going to be a little bit shorter. I think typically I'm going to shoot for about 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
A little bit shorter one for the introduction. I just wanted to have, obviously you're one of my best friends, and obviously you have such a colored background in production that it was kind of necessary to have you here at some point.
Yeah, I did not know I was getting on this, by the way. I was the backup guest.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I don't know that the primary guest, I'm not going to say who it was. I don't know that he remembered that he was the primary guest. So, and that's okay. Because I'm sure he'll be on in a couple weeks because we have another thing that we're working on.
Cool.
I don't know when that's going to come out though. Ideally, it was supposed to launch later this week. This week being the week of the 10th.
Yeah.
It's supposed to come out on Friday. It's not coming out on Friday. We haven't even shot test footage yet.
Well.
And that was, in part, that was, I think, because a lot of stuff happened off camera that I don't think we were expecting, like a computer breaking.
Yeah.
But I'm not really doing anything with that. I'm just a part of that. I'm not editing that one. That's not a me thing. That's not a me production. That's I sit down and I do it, and then it's out of my hands, and I put it on the website. Also, if you'd like to keep up with the podcast, you can go follow our socials, which are all listed at our website, joymoments.com. Podcast will air, video version will come out Monday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube and the website. Audio versions will drop the following day on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Those will be at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, Mondays and Tuesdays.
Cool.
Thanks for being on the podcast. Obviously, normally we're going to be talking about a beer. This week's was PBR because it's the first one, and that's kind of a lads beer. The lads are our friend group.
It's a Monday, so I'm not drinking today, but I put it there for advertisement purposes.
It's a Monday, so I am drinking. But again, thanks for watching, and please tune in next week for what will be the
Cheers,
first
buddy.
full episode of the Joey Moments podcast.
There we go. See ya.